My name is Henry, and I'm 21 years old. I'm a senior at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio, where I'm studying mechanical engineering. As a first generation student, I will graduate in May and become the first engineer in my family. Not many people know about my past, and I kept it to myself for a long time because of the stigma around domestic violence and mental health. As a child, I witnessed and experienced domestic violence in my family. I was born in New York to parents who immigrated from Ecuador in the early 90s. Sadly, domestic violence was not uncommon, but the norm in our family and culture. My father was an alcoholic and a domestic abuser. He did get arrested a few times for his abuse, but would shortly be released and come back. My mom, older sister, and I sought refuge in shelters to escape his violence. But like many abusers, my father used manipulation to re-enter our lives. He would apologize and say he would change, but end up reverting back to his abusive behavior. When I was 3 years old, we ran away from our home in New York to stay with family in New Jersey. After a month, we realized that we were not safe there either. My mom's therapist told her to stay at a shelter, and we found the Center for Hope and Safety, formerly Shelter Our Sisters. They provided us with a place to stay for over 2 years while we tried to rebuild our lives. Using manipulation again, my father re-entered our lives but continued with his alcoholism and abuse. When I was 6 years old, my father lashed out, violently striking my back for not finishing my food. I went to school with a bruise on my back, and after telling my teacher about the pain, my father was arrested again. After he was released, he stopped hitting my siblings and me, but he remained abusive with my mom. Even though I struggle to remember my childhood, I still carry the emotional wounds of those years. I still recall the feelings during the nights filled with screams and fights. My parents divorced in 2016 after years of living in fear and violence. Even though we were free of the abuse, my childhood experience had a lasting impact on my mental health, often making me feel trapped. The sense of abandonment and loneliness remains. As a result of the abuse, I also suffer from childhood memory loss and PTSD. It's scary because I often can't tell whether some moments that pop into my head are memories or figments of my imagination. To ensure I no longer got physically or psychologically hurt again, I built emotional walls around myself. I wouldn't open up to people, and I avoided communicating and participating in class. I kept my traumas hidden, even from myself, throughout high school and into college. Despite what I was going through in my personal life, I didn't give up on my education. As a low-income student, I worked hard in high school and earned a spot in the New Jersey Seeds College Scholars Program. They helped me navigate the college application process and opened the door for me to attend a prestigious university. But college hasn't been easy for me. I felt lost and lonely in a new environment, far from family and friends. The pandemic made things worse, as I had to cope with my feelings of loneliness and abandonment. Still scared of trusting new people, I isolated myself and spent most of my time in my room. It was not until the spring semester of my sophomore year that I summoned up the courage to seek counseling. The journey hasn't been easy, but I've confronted my traumas and started the process of improving my mental health. Slowly, I began letting go of my fears and opening up to new people and experiences. As I improved my mental health and physical well-being, I also gained a new perspective on my life. I realized how much support I had received along the way and how grateful I was for it. I want to give strength and motivation to people who aren't as fortunate as I am. From my experience, I've learned that life is a beautiful, intricate journey filled with highs and lows. It's very complex, and you never know what's happening in someone's life. That's why I aim to raise awareness and dismantle the stigma around discussing domestic violence and mental health. I know that my voice can help serve as the tipping point for many other people to speak up and deal with their trauma together. I want to bring that hope back and show people that we can overcome these hardships and succeed in life. I hope that sharing my story is a small step towards something greater. This is why I reached out to the Center for Hope and Safety in August. They had been a lifeline for me and my family as we tried to escape from domestic violence. Thanks to Argelis and community services, I recently received counseling that helped me cope with my trauma and establish healthy routines. In December, I was able to visit the community center. Returning as an adult was an eye-opening experience that showed me how much they had supported me as a child through the Safe House, art therapy, and Christmas gifts. Since then, I've been involved in various initiatives to prevent and address violence in my communities. Through my own journey as a child survivor, I learned the importance of helping those in need and standing up against domestic violence. We must not turn a blind eye when others are suffering, as I have experienced the profound impact of fear and helplessness firsthand, and no one should endure such pain. It's crucial to create an environment where everyone feels secure and supported, where every voice is heard and valued. We must work collectively to ensure no one suffers and feels alone. Together, we can spark change and break the cycle of suffering.